Hello, buddy. Welcome back to the channel. I got my friend Joseph here, and I haven't seen Joseph in about a year, right?
Yeah, it's been a year.
And since that time, you bought a house here?
Just literally about a week ago.
A week ago, wow.
Yeah.
How did you find the house?
My wife's college friend is an agent in Sumilan, and her company, her and another agent basically gave me a tour of some properties in Valencia and Dumaguete, and this one showed up, and I was kind of amazed because it was a new build.
Oh.
And it was built by Western standards by a young couple, and it was just nice with a pool, and it was priced right, and
Why were they selling it?
it's spec,
Oh.
they're in the little construction business, and then
Okay, nice.
they're going to build another one. So they have a little apartment complex with some foreigners in there. So that's what we did. So they gave us a month to get the money together and wire it over and do our due diligence, and then we spent the last real smooth. I know you hear horror stories. I get it.
Yeah.
I've been, my wife and I have been married more than 8 years, and so I did a lot of due diligence. Know how they do it in the Philippines. The Filipino is the primary buyer. The foreigners just along for the ride. I get it.
Well, your situation, you've been together for such a long time.
Oh, yeah.
That's the kind of person or kind of relationship I say, well, go ahead and do what you want when it comes to property. It's the people that meet somebody and 3 weeks later they're buying property.
Yeah.
I have seen that.
Train wreck.
Yeah. And so there's no mortgages here, right? You just have to like pay cash and.
It was funny. I'm from Southern California. I know a bit about real estate enough to get me, and so I shot an offer through the agent. 50% down. Carry me for 2 years, and my wife looked at me and said, "Don't even try that. It's cash and carry." So So we had most of the money, just had to scramble for the last little bit, they gave us 30 days. And then we spent the last, but it was a really smooth transition. The attorney that was involved was a stand-up guy. He's pretty well connected in Dumaguete, and all the agents were very, very professional, and felt really, really comfortable.
At least you don't have a mortgage, no mortgage payment or anything, no rent or anything like that, and
big sense of security.
Yeah, a lot of security.
Did spend about a week just furnishing it. She. The agent suggested a little, I asked her, do you know anybody who can help me doing some interior design? And she says, yeah, I do. And it turns out this young woman has a degree in architecture from Silliman.
Wow.
So they've been buying furniture and nesting. Women they like to nest. So.
Are you going to put solar on it?
The guy that hooked up our internet asked if we wanted to do that, and I said, not quite yet. Just let me get internet and get a CCTV in first, and then we'll think about it. I don't know how much the power bill is going to be, but where I'm at in SoCal is $350 a month anyway. So,
yeah. Well, my friends Greg and Wilma, their house, they've got solar. I think it's almost covering everything.
Right.
And there's another guy I interviewed not long ago who has a $4 million house about 10 kilometers from here, and he puts solar in. He's actually getting money back every month, and he's got the whole place lit up,
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So,
what about insurance? How does that work here? Like, they have homeowners insurance here, or?
I don't know. I just assume they don't, but if they do, it'd be expensive. But I'm really not interested. And all the houses here are built by brick. If it burns down, you just sweep it out and put another roof on it. So.
Yeah. And so we were talking off camera about what's going on in California with all these migrants coming in, and you actually took a trip with a friend of yours right all along the border from where, California to Mexico, or?
I've done it. I've done it 2 or 3 times. I like to do a little bit of what they call dark tourism. I mean, you can see stuff on the news till 10 ways till Tuesday, but I like to actually go and see it. So I've actually been down to the Darien Gap.
Really?
Yeah.
What is that like? I've heard that's a really dangerous place.
Yeah, Buddy and I had to fly in an airplane, and we almost to the Colombian border, and we just saw how everything works, the support system, all the NGOs, the Catholic charities, things like that get these people through the gap on these little boats called pirogues, and then the Panamanian army will shuttle them through and get them on the highway, and then they just keep continuing going north. But once they get to the border, that's another thing. We went from Yuma to Yacumba, which is a big crossing right now. Yacumba to Yuma, Lukeville, Ajo, Columbus. We literally followed the border for a couple hundred miles. It's pretty fascinating to see what a machine it is. It's an absolute invasion machine. What's going on?
Who's funding this whole thing? Like, who are these people behind it?
I don't know, but all I know is that it's the federal government. But it's just interesting to see the transportation system they have. They have a lot of these white plane wrapper buses. They've got, you can drive in any of these cities, and if you see like these disaster tents, they look like
The Red Cross?
Yeah, like a Red Cross tent, like a disaster tent. You go in there and there's banks of workers with banks of computers, and people in there. They're just giving them their information, which may or may not be, but it's most likely false. And so it's just an absolute invasion machine. And I got pictures on my phone I was going to show you, but we were actually driving down. There's this beautiful wide road that goes right along the border, and the wall is really pretty interesting. It is pretty beautiful, as somebody said. It's nice and straight and linear, and the way it goes across the desert is really cool. But we found a backpack with these petite, you could tell petite female clothes that were kind of scattered around it, and then we found a couple of documents that were shredded, and we put them on the back of my truck and pieced the puzzle together, and it was an itinerary from Bucharest to business class, female, 39 years old, Bucharest to oh my God, what was it? Amsterdam, and I think it was Amsterdam direct to Mexico City. So, and then you just got to ride up to Mexico City, and then you cross it. So it's an absolute complete machine. So one of the reasons I think one of the primary reasons, I think it was like Providence or whatever. I was on the fence about getting a secondary property here because I own a home in Southern California. Getting a secondary property because, you know what? I don't know where the world's going to be in 6 months. Things could go completely sideways, and I don't want to be an alarmist, but through my lived experience, I want to maybe have a plan B. And you can call me whatever you want. It's a free country. You can call me whatever you want, but I want to hedge my bets. So, but and
you're not concerned the Philippines and Taiwan and all that, and China or anything, or?
Well, I noticed on TV this morning that the Chinese Navy was having a water fight. With the Chinese Coast Guard was having a water fight with the Philippine Navy. They were hosing each other down with high pressure hoses.
The Americans have a really strong presence here now too. They're really moving in.
Yeah, I saw
12 bases now.
I saw a really cool stealth, some sort of attack ship down at in Manila Harbor a couple of months ago. pretty interesting.
'Cause I don't think they're going to do it. I think it's all talk, you know. And if they do, I don't think the Philippines is not in any danger.
Yeah.
The problem with the Philippines, they just want to take our fishing rights and,
Yeah.
you know, take over South Tennessee and strip it of all the life there. That's what they're doing.
Right.
And then sell us a bunch of cheap stuff.
Yeah. But I tell you, on a side note, you know, the inflation it's out of control. I mean, it's just terrible.
Tell me a little more about that. I was there, you know, like I said, 6 months ago, but I was just kind of with my family in Louisville and didn't go out a whole lot. So I noticed that things are a little more in the restaurants and at Walmart, but I didn't really notice a huge jump. But in California, it's major, huh?
I'll just tell you some run-of-the-mill things based on where I live. Okay, haircut. I got to pay my guy $50 for a haircut.
$50?
$50 frickin' dollars.
Wow.
Okay, here it's $3.
Yeah, $3 here.
To fill up my Toyota Tacoma gas engine, about $100.
Wow.
Okay, here I got a Hilux here, diesel, probably about 60 US, and I can drive the thing damn near 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
You know, food. There's this little restaurant up there. We actually split a meal, fed 4 people for about $12. Okay, in the U.S. that would be every bit of in Southern California, every bit of $60 to $70.
You know, whenever my wife and I go out to dinner, it usually costs us $20. And I have a couple beers. She hasn't drank.
Yeah.
But we have whatever we want, and it's like it's usually around $20.
Right. Get a sack of groceries. I mean, I've been to City Hardware too, because you got to get all these doodads when you move into a house. Got to, you know, maybe I don't know, $100 for.
Yeah.
But one thing I really feel good about here is like when you know you're spending money here, you know it's going into the economy.
Right.
You know, you got a CCTV just set up, and the contractor bought four of his guys. You know, so you know that those guys are getting paid. The people that it was really close. We no sooner closed on this house than you could see the people we bought the house from. They literally 2 days later, they're already dropping materials for the next house they're going to build. You know, their hollow tile and their sand and concrete and whatnot. So you know the money's going into it's literally going into the economy.
Yeah, it's staying here. Yeah.
It's staying here. You know. So,
you know, the Philippines isn't supporting any other countries or giving aid to other countries.
You know, that's the beauty of this place, you know, and that's why I really tread lightly here, because I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that ugly American. You know, when I see a security guard at the, you know, when he's waving you down, going into, like Robin says, I look him in the eye and say thank you.
Oh, me too.
You know,
I love the security guards here. They're fantastic. They always let me back out. They stop the traffic for me. You know, they're friendly. They open the door for you. They're nice.
Yeah. And you know, the Philippines is a homogenous society. It hasn't been, you know, corrupted by people from economic refugees from all over the world like the U.S. has.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it's kind of a, you know, it's a tender, you know, topic for me, because, you know, my wife had to go through the citizenship process in the U.S. and it was a nightmare every bit of the way, and but she finally got it, and
yeah, so your wife's a U.S. citizen now.
She's a U.S. citizen now. Yeah.
That must mean, not my wife, you know, I would just like to take my wife to America to visit my family, and I got to jump through all these hoops and get that tourist visa, and they may say yes, they may say no. They interrogate her separately and ask her trick questions.
Yeah.
I know guys whose wives and girlfriends have been turned down for a tourist visa, and it really upsets me that other people can just walk right in, and not only are they allowed in, but they're given money and support and everything. And I just want to take my wife for like 3 weeks and visit my family and come back to the Philippines, but I can't do that without jumping through a bunch of hoops.
Well, there's a couple things going on here, okay? So, well, there's a multitude of things going on in this regard, but there's some, where I'm at, there's some huge shopping outlet centers, where people come, to discount goods, And I'll go down there with my wife because that's one of her businesses. And, she's a reseller, and you walk around and you can just see people, speaking 10 or 15 different languages. The problem is whatever money they're going to get with aid, any type of aid,
Yeah.
they're going to get that money. They're going to go straight to
Western Union or
Western Union, and it's going to go out of the country. It will not be injected into the economy. And
So do you think most of these people are coming for economic reasons, or do you think that there's...
Absolutely.
So you don't think there's some kind of sinister plan of like an army that's going to take over?
I had it in my phone, but there's actually especially down in the Darien, once they cross, there's the NGOs have special
What's an NGO again?
national non-government organization.
Okay.
And what they do is they tell you, they give you a script on what to tell any sort of officer.
Wow.
I feel for my life. My life was threatened. This, that, the other thing. So so.
Even if they're from like Romania or China or these other countries?
Yeah, you see them from everywhere. China.
Did you see one country more than anything else, or a majority of?
When
Or?
I was down there, it's pretty much a mixed bag. I was showing you that video, but Turkey, Romania, which is a huge problem where I'm at, because there's this segment of that population that's grifters. They do the old funeral placards at intersections and play the fake violins and the starving baby trick. It's a generational thing. It's been going on for years.
Like gypsies?
Well, yeah, that's what they are. Roman gypsies. So, but people from everywhere. But I say to myself, okay, well, where's this going to be in a year? Okay, say the administration changes. Okay, and that's still a toss-up. Okay, and say some of the things they were talking about, deporting people back. They're going to be going kicking and screaming. And
That just seems so hard to do to round. It's over 1 million people to round them up, and where are you going to send them? What if they're from Romania? How are you going to buy them a ticket back there? Or?
I don't know. And to tell you the truth, I'm at the age right now where I would rather be in a place like this, sitting in a nice little home, on the other side of the world and watching the shit show from afar.
I feel the same way.
So.
Well, here, with immigration, it's like I know of guys that I've met that are just lazy, and they haven't renewed their visa. They say, I'm not going anywhere, and so they're here.
Yeah.
So they're basically illegals.
Yeah.
They came in legally. But they're not taking any services. The government's not giving them anything.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, they're taking their pension money and they're spending it here in the Philippines. It's staying here in the Philippines, so they're not really doing any harm, even though it's still against the law. But you don't see people just flooding into this country from around the world, and instead they've decided to go to America. Why aren't they doing this to Canada?
Well, because the U.S. government is good at giving away taxpayers' money to other, things that don't benefit the country. It's the damnedest thing I've ever. I can't believe I'm 67 years old, going, holy moly, what is going on here? The country's being destroyed right in front of us. And maybe not destroyed, but severely hamstrung. Because can you imagine being a young guy with a young family over there and trying to buy a home? Just to buy a home, you're looking at about a $6,000 a month payment for a modest home.
Jeez.
It's crazy. So anyway.
I heard they shut down, I forget what it was. It was like a hotel or something. They shut it down to provide housing for these immigrants, and a bunch of people lost their jobs that worked there. Things like that are happening.
Yeah, the inner cities, it's not good. It's not
Then
good.
you got the fentanyl problem too. Like I saw videos of whole city blocks in like Portland and then Baltimore and Seattle.
One thing there's a couple things, especially in Southern California, that you'll notice, okay, where I'm at, and it's just these little things that just will slowly just tear away at the society. Little things that just that
It's like a cancer on
like
the,
a cancer,
yeah.
you know. So you go to some of the, you know, not the nicer neighborhoods, but the more of the working class neighborhoods.
Right.
There's no place to park a car because people are renting beds out in their houses for $400 or $500 a month. So
And all those people have cars.
yeah, and all these people you can't. That's one thing. One thing you notice: half of them aren't registered. You know, you can look at the tags;
Yeah.
they're not registered. The other thing is flower street vendors. There are flower vendors everywhere, and I ordered some. I ordered some flowers from a friend of mine's mom who is in the hospital. Anyway, I just say, what's the deal with all these flower vendors? He said, you know what? Half these guys are paying off the cartel. They're working for the cartels selling flowers. Okay.
So it's indentured servitude.
Exactly. And the other thing is these pop-up taco stands. You know, if there's some guy's got paying lease rent on a restaurant, you know, all the operating expenses and everything else. Some guy pitches up a tent and has a propane grill and gets a bag of carne asada, and he's making money. You know, that really, you know, sends the wrong message, and it's tell you what, man, there's a lot of angry people over there right now. Yeah.
So no laws are being enforced then, basically. If the laws are enforced, you wouldn't have the problem, right? I mean, it's not legal to put your tent up in any city.
No.
And so if they just said that's against the law and they say you get it out of here in the next couple hours, we
Yeah.
throw it in the dumpster,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have that problem. But I saw the thing with the fentanyl, which is scary. They were like zombie. It was like a zombie movie.
Yeah.
But what shocked me is I forget what city it was. They had this tent set up, and they had some nurses, maybe even a doctor there,
Yeah.
and they were giving out free fentanyl, free, and then they would give you the right dosage and monitor you to make sure you weren't going to overdose. They had the pins there, you know, what do you call them, the EpiPens or whatever.
Depends, yeah.
If you overdose, they had that there. And so they're all lined up, you know, getting their free
Well,
drugs.
it's either going to be Philly or
Yeah.
Atlanta or Chicago
And then they had like
New
lunch
York.
served, you know, and they had porta potties and
big party.
tents. And I mean, they were encouraging these people to be drug addicts. It was like shocking.
Yeah. Has the world gone mad?
It's like America's gone mad.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't have any second thoughts about being there at all. It's like I said, when I was in Louisville, I didn't see any of that stuff because I was based with my family and taking care of my storage locker. But when I talk to people like you from California, which seems to be the hotbed of the whole thing, like the worst place,
Yeah.
and it's just shocking. It's really shocking.
So this is one of the things I'm concerned about. Okay, is see, not everybody comes over the border is destitute.
Oh,
Okay, and there's going to be a lot of you can call it dirty money or foreign money or whatever, and you're going to see people who want to leave the state. They'll just sell their house to anyone, which is their right, and just the fabric of the culture will just change. You know, just people coming over from another country just to buy property here, and they know nothing about America, how it operates,
and they don't
how
take care of
people
it.
live.
It's just,
You know, I don't know.
are property values going down in California? They're still going up.
They're still. I tell you what, they've never gone down. It's crazy how
What would it cost to rent like a one-bedroom apartment in your area?
in my area about $2,000.
Wow.
Yeah, about $2,000 a month. Yeah. But what do you get? You know, just I don't know how else to put it, but just people are worn out. I mean, they're really worn out. And I tell you what, when I spent the first night in our house the other night, and just looking out the window, and I didn't know which way the sun rose.
Yeah.
And it turned out it rose right over the direction of the backyard. There's a wall there over the pool. Got a pool, and just seeing the clouds come over the mountain, and the bats, the
Yeah.
bat swarm, when the sun is setting and when it's rising, they're swarming, and you hear the coconuts falling out of the trees, and they go
Yeah.
thump. And so, when I come here and I go to a vibrant little community like Valencia, people are doing their thing, and
Yeah, Valencia's booming. Wow.
smiling, and there's this vitality to the community. I mean, the community's alive.
It is.
But you go where I'm at. I mean, the land of right angles. Stoplights, curb, gutter, and sidewalk, lawns.
Stoplights, traffic lights.
Nobody knows their neighbor. There's a very little social interaction.
So you go down to the boardwalk, at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Friday night, I see a bunch of drugs down there. I see a bunch of criminals down there. Just families, people walking around, and vendors down there selling food and snacks and stuff, and just it's just so safe here. And
Yeah.
what are you going to do with your property and your house back in California? You thinking about selling it? Or are you going to keep it? What are you going to do?
That's I've got a elderly father living with me, so I got to factor in that component. But I'm just hoping. I don't know what's going to happen with real estate. Will it I don't want to use the term tank because it won't. But to tell you the truth, I would probably most likely sell it. And I've always liked where you came from in St. George.
Yeah, St. George is fantastic. Yeah.
And then that would be the best of both worlds, because I just like places where there. I mean, boy, if you took that's the tragedy of Southern California. If you just took away the politics and the ne'er-do-wells who live there, it's an absolute gorgeous.
Oh, it
gorgeous
is
place to
beautiful.
live.
San Diego was gorgeous when I lived there.
But if you I just like the color of St. George. The Red Rocks is beautiful. The people are it's clean. Got the whole LDS thing going on up there. People respect each other.
Yeah. It's like 35%, I think, from LDS. But like when I was there, I moved there in like 94, 95. And it's booming since then. But a lot of people, even back then, were moving from California to Utah, and they were selling their little cracker box house in Silicon Valley for $500,000, $600,000, $1 million, and coming to St. George and building these mansions with big views of the mountains and everything, and pools and spectacular homes, and very happy with their new life. And if you want to go to California from St. George, it's a 4-hour drive.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
The other thing there is there's this thing called Prop 13 that keeps the property taxes relatively low. In California, they're thinking about doing away with that. So just one more thing you gotta think about. I tell you what, after seeing what it takes just to live here in the Philippines, I mean, it is. I can see why guys come over here. And but
I met so many guys that have come over here they started watching like videos like mine and Paul's and different people, and they came over for all these different reasons. And I've had guys come with tears in their eyes saying, "Thank you so much, because my life, I was lonely, I was miserable, I couldn't afford to have a decent place to live. I was always stressed out," and said, "I've never been happier."
I can totally see that, and I keep my eyes. You can tell there's a lot of guys in town that just got off the boat.
Yeah,
I mean?
you can tell, you can spot them.
You can tell they're out there searching, checking out the environment, and I really wish them well, because there's something really special about this place. And I tell you what, if there's any locals watching the channel and seeing this interview, Scout's honor, I will remain on my best behavior.
Yeah,
that's a promise.
Well, we're welcome here. Everywhere you go, the locals, the government officials, they want us here. And you feel, you don't feel like you're. I feel like this is my country now, even though I'm not a citizen. I feel like this is my home.
We hung a Philippine flag on the side of the house. First thing we did when we got here. Wanted to show respect to the locals.
Well, now I've got a son that's half Filipino, half American, so I'm even more connected to this country forever.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, absolutely. You left your mark.
So, this thing about the border, though, Do you think, like, let's say Trump gets, I don't want to get into politics,
Yeah,
but
I
let's,
get it.
you know, say Trump or Biden gets elected again or whatever happens, you know, one of them could drop dead, who knows? But do you think that either side is going to actually be able to solve the problem, or is it too late? I mean, back when Reagan was president, remember how he had the amnesty program?
Right.
Like, they might do.
I think this is what I think. You know, if I was if I was Trump, what I would do is I would do the dreamer thing. You know, I would allow the dreamers to become citizens.
Yeah.
But I would drop the hammer on getting people back, you know, back out of the country, and they can do it. The problem is this, though, is these people, a lot of these people, have literally gave up their life savings to the cartel to get in the country.
Right.
I mean, it was their last chance, their last hoorah. And I tell you what, if you have somebody coming to pick you up and take you back, and they will make a, you know, he'll figure something out. They'll probably use the military to get them back. You know, maybe set up a central distribution point in Mexico or something. But there's going to be some people who are absolutely, they're going to go kicking and screaming. You know.
Well, see, I think if they're here already, then why not give them work visas, no money from the government at all, you know, but then, and have some kind of system set up where there's centers all over America where they screen these people. They have to, like, it's like being on parole. You would come in and get screened, and they're watching what you're doing. Are you working?
You know what? I think that could be
for some people, not everybody,
yeah,
but
I think
for some.
it could be a component. But I'm gonna say solidly 50% of the people here are nefarious.
Really, that many,
Oh
huh?
yeah, solid 50%.
So the people you met when you were down there and you saw you showed me the
They
video.
came to my place of business. You know, I had some Romanian guys try to scam me out of a vehicle I had for sale. You know, absolutely, you know, shamelessly. You know, and so anyway, but we'll see. But that's one of the reasons why I'm here, so I can get ahead of the game if things go, you know, they go completely sideways.
I think we talked about it before, but are you, how about health insurance and things like that? Do you have like a plan in case you need medical care? Or would you go back to America, or would you go to Thailand, or have it done here like in Manila? Or
Well, right now the plan is to come here for two to 3 weeks every 2 months. That's what I'd like to do.
okay, a lot of flying.
It's all right. You know where I live, I can get. I'm 5 minutes from Ontario Airport. I could literally be in Dumaguete 24 hours later.
That's nice.
Yeah. So, you know, I've got Kaiser, so I don't have any. Just got the typical, you know, relatively high blood pressure that I stabilize with my meds. But my wife told me that Phil
Health,
no, not Phil Health, that's the
Pacific Cross.
no, it's the high end one.
Oh, that was the Highland Pacific
Well,
Cross.
you can get a good, but if there was something really you know, like gallstones or something like that, I would probably wing it here or go to St. Luke's, you know.
Well, St. Luke's is supposed to be one of the best hospitals in all of Asia.
And if things got really wonky, I would go to Bangkok. You know,
Yeah.
they got some really good.
They do, yeah.
You know, and
Well, I met several guys that had, most of them, it was like motorcycle accidents, or they're,
but that's another thing. I
Yeah.
love motorcycles. I always had them. I got a couple in my garage, but there is no way I'd ride a bike around here. No way. But you see all these grannies and families with infants on the scooter. It's like, holy moly, this is death wish.
yeah, once my wife was pregnant, that was it for motorcycles. We haven't been on them since I bought the car.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing about it is, it's not, you know, the foreigners I've met that have had accidents, it was 90%, it wasn't their fault. They weren't drunk, they weren't speeding. It was a dog, it was a rock in the road.
Yeah.
It was somebody that cut them off, you know, but it was, these things happen.
Yeah, it's not the crashing, it's the recovering.
Yeah.
You know.
But the thing is that the hospitals here, even like Silliman, where I visited guys in the hospital, they had like pins in the legs and stuff. They fixed them all up, and it didn't cost that much. It was
Yeah.
like $3,000,
Yeah.
you know, and fixed them all up, and they were fine, and they recovered, and you know, but without insurance. Said most guys are self-insuring that
Yeah,
I've met.
yeah.
You know, they keep a credit card in their wallet with like
Yeah.
$4,000 or $5,000 limit on it.
Yeah.
And that's what I did when my baby was born. I just used a credit card.
Yeah, I went to St. because my knees are just shot, and I wanted to get a cortisone shot, and when my niece rolled me up to the front the front counter there, and I said I'm a cash customer. I wanted to see if I've got a cortisone shot. So they couldn't get me into the elevator and upstairs quick enough. and the doctor, he was a really cool guy. He was shooting my legs up full of, my knees up full of cortisone. All he wanted to do was talk about Pink Floyd and 70s rock bands.
What do they charge you for that?
$300
$300 US?
$300.
No, that seems high.
At the time, but I know better. But yeah, I think it was a little bit high. But 4 shots in each knee. And
Okay, yeah. Did it work?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, when's your next trip back to America?
I leave Friday. I leave Sunday.
Oh, wow.
I got to go back and just go back to work for a couple of a month or two and try to figure out because
You got your own business. What's your business again?
auto wrecking.
That's right.
Salvage,
That's right. Yeah.
And so if you so it's different now that we have like we have a piece of the piece of the pie over here, our own little.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I want to come back, decorate,
Yeah.
that type of stuff, go swimming, meet the barangay captain,
Yeah.
go up to the gymnasium and watch the kids play basketball, just try to get into the vibe,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel the same way. Well, I really appreciate you taking time out
Sure,
and
man.
coming over. And everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.